Hamid here. Hamid, please.
Sorry, microphone muted. So yeah, I'm Hamid, also Microsoft MVP, and working as a cloud architect. So really happy to be here and having Jonah today with us. We have really great sessions, upcoming sessions in the December. So starting today. Yeah, very welcome. Looking forward to learn new stuff and great experience from Jonah.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and welcome everyone for joining our session, especially on a Saturday evening. I mean, Swedish time and also your time. So I do really appreciate your time. And you might be wondering, why is Jonah wearing a tiara? Wonder Woman tiara. And that's because Said actually created a nickname also to me because of the hero stuff I do for Azure. And I thought Azure Zero to Hero, like name of the learning room, it suits the costume itself. But it's not a full costume, but it indicates I'm one of the heroes in tech.
Yeah, exactly. As I mentioned before, you do not need to wear any kind of costume. You're already
Yeah.
Wonder Woman to us.
Thank you so much. I wanted to, so this is great. So, so those that are gonna watch it recorded also, then I dress up as one. All right.
Amazing.
Are we going to go? Can I share my screen? Is it my time now, or do you have more?
Just we want to
Yeah.
talk about Azure Zero to Hero and Microsoft Learning Room. Hamid, can you please share with us about Microsoft Learning Room, how we can join with different rooms that we have in Microsoft Learning, and then I'll talk about Azure Zero to Hero.
Of course, just a short introduction to Microsoft Learn and Learning Rooms. Not going to take that much time. So we are all familiar with Microsoft Learn. It's the richest place ever with the great content with Microsoft technologies, not just cloud technologies, from all of the covering technologies with customized learning paths. So we really enjoy learning new stuff, following cloud skills challenges, and getting certified, and with the great new initiatives from Microsoft like applied skills. So we are really happy that we are leading currently 2 learning rooms with Microsoft Learn together and having sessions. So the aim is to focusing on sharing knowledge, talking about knowledge within learning rooms, having sessions, technical sessions, and so on as much as we can. So really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. And just to mention, Azure Zero to Hero is one of the Microsoft Learning Room and under Microsoft Learning Room support. So basically, if you join to this learning room, you can be able to use a lot of good contents that we planning to share. If you want to join, just scan the QR code that you can see in the screen. Also, Hamid share some links in chat. And we are not going to talk anymore about these things. The stage is yours, Yuna, please.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Let me just share my screen. Let's see. I have multiple screen here. So do you see my screen?
Yes, I can
Okay.
see.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Let me just also follow through so I look in between here. So I have 3 screen. All right. Welcome everyone. I'm here today to share with you about my learned experience from migrating .NET applications to Microsoft Azure. And before we start, I wanted to I wanted to do kind of like a survey to find out what is your like role. So if you have your phone with you, please scan the QR code and answer the question of what is your current role, just to check. Uh, just a tech check about the audience, a learner. I like that. Something didn't really went well with the presentation with the background, but I can see your answers. Okay. We have a DevOps engineer, a CEO, solution architect, learner, CSA, a tech leader, cloud system engineer. So we have variations of like audience here and members. It's really great. And next one, I'm curious, from which country are you joining the learning room today? USA? Sweden? UAE? All right, USA is winning now. It's dominating. We have one from Thailand, Sweden. All right. Netherlands. Okay, amazing. All right. Thank you so much for your participation. We have Germany. Okay. Yes. Yes. Welcome. That's great to know the stats who are joining us live today, and those that are watching recording. You can also sign. I mean, answer this QR code later when you get to see the session. So today I will be sharing with you my cloud migration journey, my real experience. So this is something that I myself have experienced my experience in the past or previous project as a senior consultant, and it is a journey that led me to learn more about Azure, share knowledge about it, and write a book about it. And I hope that this session will be useful to you, especially in your own journey as well in your IT projects in your organization. So who is Jonah Andersson? So some of you knows me already if you follow me on LinkedIn, but I'm very active in the community, and I have this tagline that I love to inspire tech to others because of my purpose of why. Because I like to use my knowledge and skills to share it to others and inspire them to do their best as well, and spreading out those knowledge that they have gained through me. But outside work, I mean, outside the community work as a Microsoft MVP, as a trainer, Microsoft certified trainer, and the leader of Azure User Group Sweden, I work by daytime as a senior Azure consultant at Solidify, an IT consulting company here. I also founded recently a new company of myself that I work for myself. It's called Jonah Andersson Tech, which is focused on training certifications related to Microsoft and Azure. And I'm a developer. I'm also working with DevOps. I work with cloud development, and I do mix cloud architecture and solution tasks as well in my job as a consultant. And there are a lot of things you will see. I'm a podcast co-host, so as Said said, I'm everywhere. So this is about me. So follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn if you want to get inspired about what I do. So this is me. I'm a Wonder Woman, actually. Not just for like the chart that I'm wearing, but because of the experience that I've had for the past several years as a developer, as an architect, and as a consultant. So I am this Wonder Woman who had the mission to lift a .NET legacy application to the cloud, to Azure. And when I had this project, this was like about 6-7 years ago as a consultant. Um, it reminded me of this image, a cartoon, which I actually first seen when I was studying .NET or system development here in Sweden. And when I saw this first time as a junior developer, trying to learn Agile and how to develop it the right way in terms of IT projects, I don't really understand it. But then now that I've worked as a IT consultant for several years now and gained a lot of experience and challenges, this cartoon actually really makes sense to me in terms of projects, working with different people and with different roles and different tasks within the project. And it's something that I'm sure you can also relate in your project. And I'm sure it is also something definitely I can resonate in terms of like my project, cloud migration project that I'm talking or speaking about today. So today, my plan is that I'm gonna share about my cloud migration experience. Maybe not as a novel, because it would take like the entire like sessions, hours of sessions maybe. But I will be highlighting the experience itself, an overview, the challenges and the lessons learned that I had. I'm gonna highlight the Azure migration tools and frameworks that are good to know and that I wish I had when I had that migration experience. And then I will share a bit about well-architected framework for Azure and a lot of cloud migration good stuff that you need to know in your projects. And then later on, we do have a Q&A session that we can discuss together as friends in this learning community. So this was my mission. So my mission as a Wonder Woman was actually years ago was to migrate an on-prem infrastructure, the traditional infrastructure, with all its things in it. So that includes an application that it's ASP.NET 4.7 back then, a monolithic architecture. The databases were in the old Microsoft SQL Server. It was using a reporting services that's not Power BI that we have today, but it is the Microsoft SQL reporting services on-prem. And then on that infrastructure or project or application, you could call it, the web server, the databases, as well as the different environments were actually on virtual machines on-prem. And they are actually on an operating system of Windows 2008 R2. And if you can look back years ago, that was the time when it was phasing out. So the mission that we had or I had is to help migrate this on-prem IT infrastructures and everything in it to the cloud because of this challenges of being out of date and being too old or other modernization and migration reasons as well. And of course, we did choose Azure. So we had a plan to do ASP, like a SQL server. And then instead of having the reporting services on-prem, we're going to translate it to Power BI and use this big promises that Azure has for those services at that time. So, of course, the journey to the cloud is very long, just like when you take a flight somewhere else outside Sweden or outside your country. Sometimes you really have to take off hard, and taking off can be really risky. There are risks that it can go wrong, it can go well, but once you're up there, the ride is smooth. And then when you land, you also have to go through the risk of landing well and arriving in the journey where you're meant to be or where you plan to be. And my journey was kind of like that. And that's why every time I travel to conferences and I see the clouds, it actually reminds me of my cloud migration journey itself as well. So We chose Azure because of different reasons. As you all know, you that worked with Azure development, we know why we love Azure. We love Azure because there are benefits to it. That includes being away from the traditional on-prem, but and also getting the benefits of Azure cloud computing in terms of scalability and flexibility and the hybrid options that it has for us in our IT infrastructure, and the opportunity to learn new modern technologies and geo redundancy option that we need in most of our business or IT solutions or cases. So the maturity level actually in terms of migrating, I'm a .NET developer, so I'm focusing on the .NET applications modernization, as well as my project was actually in .NET. So the maturity level for migrating .NET applications to Azure has its different levels or different ways. So if you take a look at this picture in here that you see in the presentation, so it's existing apps that we have traditionally has this monolithic architecture or end-tier applications where everything is in one place. And then today we do have a lot of options like in different models of cloud. We have the infrastructure as a service, we have the platform as a service, and we can combine a PaaS with serverless or SaaS and containers. So there are different ways to modernize a .NET application, but the main key thing here for us to know as developers or IT architects or IT decision makers is to know what is our motivations why we're moving to the cloud. Are we migrating because we want to modernize, or we're migrating because we want to solve some on-prem problems? And it's also there are also other factors that needs to be thought of in terms of the resources, the people that are going to work on this project, cloud project specifically. Is this like something that's limited, or it's something that you can go all the way, you have a big budget, you have a lot of resources who can do some code changes and architecture and migration stuff. So there are different options, and getting started the right way is truly essential. So for me, it was a very big migration project because it's like the entire on-prem legacy application that's already in production needs to be on the side migrated to Azure. So it was a big migration project for a small team. And when I say small team, it's actually literally just me working as the dev, developing it, the kind of like a cloud architect who assists in guiding it and how we could do or move things to Azure, and another developer who's like partly helping me, and a project manager, and someone that set some business goal. So just a very big project for a small team at that time. So it was a very long journey to the cloud migration experience for me. And in this journey that I had, I actually have experienced this 5 R's of cloud digitalization or rationalization, you call it as well. And there are actually five. So the first one is the option to like a rehost, and then there's the refactor. There's the R for re-architect. There's the rebuild anew, and then there's also the R's that represents replace. And you will be able to learn more about the details of this by like if you take a look at the cloud adoption framework for like specifically for the category of digital estates, you will see how the details of the 5 R's, but I'm going to be sharing how it relates to me as well. So as an overview, what is the first R? And the first R is the common type of scenario that is often firstly considered, which is the rehosting. It's like the lift of shift from on-prem to Azure or to the cloud. And major motivations that many organizations consider it is, of course, to to reduce the capital expenses and also to have uh, the option to move away from the on-prem data center into the cloud. And then, of course, many wants to be able to have this ROI in the cloud for better opportunity. And of course, it's also easier, especially if you have limited resources and people that would move to that would work in moving the infrastructure to the cloud. So it's like the lift and shift, just like when you're kind of like working out, but it's not an easy lift and shift either. It really depends on the use case. The second R in the 5 R's of rationalization is the refactoring, which means that if you're not able to do the lift and shift, you do also have the option to do refactoring of your application. And the purpose or motivation for that as well is the reuse of code or portability. And it also has the benefits of other options in the cloud, just as like being able to reuse some of the old code to when you move to the cloud so that you don't have to start everything from scratch. And if as a developer, of course, we don't want to repeat ourselves. But then in my situation, it was different. So you will know why. This was also something I learned about. But I'll go through first the 5 R's. The third R is the re-architect, which means that by re-architecting your existing infrastructure that you're moving to the cloud, you gain more scalability and you have the option to adapt to new technologies that are available today that will help solve your business use case or scenarios. And your team also can benefit to this in a way that the architects, the developer are able to learn new technologies and develop with new things, and they're not stagnant or in the same old technologies that they're used to. Because to me, as a developer, I like learning new things. And every time I learn new things, new technologies, it actually keeps me excited about my work. And this is also one of, for me, to me, it's a good benefits as well, not just on the business side, but also to the dev or IT team as well. And then the fourth R is rebuild or create as new. So this is ideal for those that are like they have this motivation that the infrastructure that they currently have on-prem are really chanceless. No option. It's out of date and a lot of unsupported thing. It's really like super tech debt. And if they try to upgrade it, it will be more expensive than the cloud. So this is when organization consider this for the motivation also to accelerate innovation, to modernize, and they want to speed it up instead of wasting time upgrading those out of date or unsupported on-prem infrastructure as well. And it also helps with operational costs in a way that upgrading and maintaining old stuff actually can be very expensive instead of just creating or building things as new, which can be is cheaper in different types of compute services on the cloud, like in Azure. So it really depends on how it is being rebuilt and being created as new as well. And then the last one of ours is the replace. So completely replace it. And the purpose is to follow the best practices for the industry. It's more like focus on modernization and adoption for the business, and also the ROI and other investment business related purpose as well. And there's opportunity for the team to grow and learn new things. So all those 5 R's, I've actually done this and done that. So I did in that project, we did try the first option to rehost or to do the lift and shift. So the application that we had was about 15 years old, not well documented. There were many developers that have coded in that .NET application, and there were lots of bugs. So the first option that we had, of course, considering that we weren't a big team, is to do the lift and shift. However, that option did not work for us because there was a the incompatibility issues between the Windows 2008 R2 and moving it into just a virtual machine. At that time, there weren't that option to just like easily like migrate the entire server into Azure. So that didn't work either, and the cost was kind of like more expensive if you do the lift and shift. That didn't work, so we did the refactoring, which means that I worked a lot in refactoring the buggy code coded by the previous developers for the past 15 years of that system, and then make sure that that code has less bugs and clean in order to have it compatible as a .NET application supported to be hosted as a platform as a service, like an app service. But that went very, very messy and very dirty in a way that it did not work either, because the database itself that we migrated to Azure SQL had a lot of like complex data, and then moving it and importing them kind of like messed up the entire like tables, and it doesn't work well with refactored code, and that was really a mess. It didn't work. And last, we tried to re-architect and rebuild, which means that while the system is on production and we're maintaining it, we're trying to replicate the system as new, meaning no .NET upgrade to .NET 4.7 to 4.8, which was actually supported in the app service that time. We decided we're going to do core, which is actually out of date also today. We're going to do .NET Core and then build it as new SQL database, re-architect the system, re-architect the tables and database. And it did actually work. So all those trials and errors of rehosting, refactoring, modernizing old stuff, the thing that worked for us is to re-architect and rebuild the system as new. So that was really great, because in the span of almost a year project, I indeed succeeded. And considering that I was the only one like leading the project and not so much developers on the side, I did really learned a lot from the experience of those steps. But then there was a stop, which means that we succeeded, or I succeeded. We couldn't make it. We didn't put that working application to production. And you might be wondering why. Why you did succeed, Jonah? Why you didn't? Why you didn't buy it? And the reason for that are very interesting, because the client that's using the system in production, they don't want to put it in production because they are not ready for the cloud. They're not confident about the cloud, and they were not willing to invest in it. So that really was shocking to me, because I was really in a successful project and I had something to show. The team had something to show, but it didn't make it to production. So from being a superwoman, I actually went 404, which means I got burned out. I was very tired, doing my best to really help the project move to the cloud. I went 404 to the point that I was stressed out and I had to take a break from that project. And I did travel to Portugal. This is actually a picture in Portugal where I did some reflections about that project because I really put my heart into it, all my knowledge into it. I learned a lot from it, but it was like kind of like that was too bad. It didn't make it to production. It didn't make it to the cloud just because the users that are supposed to use it, including the management of the project, we're not really confident about the solution itself. So I did some reflections and then wondered what went wrong, because that's what we do, right? If something you did right and then it didn't really make it to your expectations, you wondered what went wrong. So I like sci-fi movies, and if I was reflecting, if I could teleport and turn back time, what could have we or I have done differently? For my side, I did my best with all the tools and Azure features that was available for me years ago. But it led me to some lessons learned that led me to speaking this story with you today. And this is based on my developer journey, or kind of like architect or Jane of all trades journey in this project. So my first lesson learned is that it's always important to have a cloud strategy before you start a project, a cloud migration project. Don't start until you have defined the cloud migration strategy and you know what are your business requirements. The second one is that pay your tech debt now and not later, because if you wait to pay your debt when it's time to move to the cloud, because we're too busy delivering new features, we will pay the interest later and we will suffer and regret from it when it's time to modernize and move, and the business will also suffer in this kind. So take value on tech devs. Don't wait 10, 15 years, just like what happened in that application that I was into to fix this thing. So really important for tech leaders to make sure, or dev leads to make sure, that the applications are really well happy and is reliable, and try as much as possible bug free. Of course, it's not avoidable to create bugs, because we developers can create bugs as well because of wrong decisions and wrong analysis. But pay tech dev now, not later. Try to fix and solve some technical debts, clean up any dependencies that are not needed, clean it up, use the one that you only use, and delete some duplicate or scrappy data that you don't need in your database. Next one is, I learned that it is very important for everyone in the organization, the IT teams working in it, and decision makers, even developers, architects, to be cloud ready, because that's the that is really important to success. So there's no cloud transformation if the transformation starts at the bottom. It should start from the leadership of the organization itself. So for my case, it was me on the bottom level. I mean, in the development level, that really have this high achieve, high, I like high, like, and positive outlook about the project, that it will succeed to the cloud, and I did it. But if the leadership doesn't believe in the capabilities of the cloud, then it's just a waste of time and effort on the resources. So invest in cloud knowledge and expertise, like learning Azure right now through learning rooms, through the community, through like taking Microsoft certifications, going to conferences, is really a good investment to us, for us as developers and also IT organizations. And build a cloud superheroes team to implement this strategy. it is important to have this dedicated team that are really passionate about moving things forward in the project. And if I could go back in time, I wish I had more superheroes or Marvel heroes with me in that project. But I was not so superwoman at that time that I could have the entire Marvel heroes to help me with that because it was a big project. But I learned a lot of lessons, which this includes one of them. And for lessons learned as well is always remember the 5S to successful cloud journey, which means that you need to start small steps so you can succeed into that. Don't start something big that you don't know what you're getting into. Start small baby steps because that's more achievable and gives you more consistency than stepping a big leap and you don't know how to go back if you fail. And 5 is that be conscious about data when you're trying to move to the cloud. So there are users that are really conscious where their data is saved. One of the reasons why actually it didn't make it to production because the client thought that it's not safe to save data on the cloud. And that's kind of like a misunderstanding somehow, or that is actually the cause of not being cloud ready or knowledgeable, because it is actually secure data to the cloud. It's just like knowing this compliance and GDPR policies in every locations. And Azure actually has those support for compliance, and there are data centers, for example, here in Sweden that are being built locally so that the data residency is very close to you or the users or the application users that owns this data. So choosing the right data storage is also important, like in terms of what kind of data that you have in your applications. Are you going to use like Cosmos DB for a distributed database? Are you going to use SQL because it's more convenient for your use case? Or you're going to use Azure SQL Managed Instance because you have a lot of instances that you need to run together. And these things are very important for us decisions, especially for us cloud architects in a team. We all need everybody or all of us to collaborate to achieve this. And then when it comes to databases migration journey or experiences, there are different ways for that. Like, for example, if you have on-prem SQL Server, Oracle, so there's different migration service. Like you can choose to have it on a VM. You can also have it as a single database or a managed instance. And Azure supports other database platforms as well. And there's Cosmos DB and serverless options. Lesson six I learned is that make sure that the development team, the ops team, and all the members of the team working in the cloud migration projects are in sync. Because if it's not, it won't work. And the reason why I'm sharing this, because during my migration project or journey, of course, the developer and I or the dev team are in sync, of course, because we think the same way. We think about problem solving, but the business leaders and the ops team and those that are setting requirements are not really into agreement into what tools to use. One example that I had is like the business requirement manager or leader has been used to using Excel to write user requirements with the user stories in Excel. But in order to move forward in the project and to collaborate it better, I suggested we should use Azure DevOps because we have Azure boards, we have the repos, we have everything. But that created a conflict because of the technology gap, knowledge gap. And this is something that is really important, that all the team members are in sync of the tools that needs to be used during the cloud migration project. to create some better flow in delivery. And then the lesson 7, one of the last, is to seek advice from cloud experts. Like I'm a Microsoft MVP, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I became one because I became very passionate about learning more about this technology. And aside from me, there are many great leaders in technologies and experts we have today, including your leaders in this learning room, that can help in guiding and assisting with advice in terms of moving to the cloud. And Microsoft Azure or Microsoft themselves actually have support through the community and even the partners, Microsoft partners. And Azure has a specific, they have this program called Azure Expert MSP, where it's kind of like coordinated with the Microsoft partners. So per country, so if you search, there should be at least an Azure Expert MSP per country if your organization needs help with cloud migration. And then the next one is that plan your security and identity protection. So security is really important. Plan it carefully along with the migration. So it's not just like moving your apps to the cloud, but also think about security. It's security risks and security threats is actually real. And if you're not having it as part of your plan, cloud migration plan, then it's not good. uh, think about the shared responsibility model. So depending on what type of model you're using, PaaS, infrastructure as service, there's a shared responsibility between them. So think about how you develop your apps. Think about how you do your DevOps, your DevSecOps, and how you do the security monitoring when you are already in production. And in Azure, there's the Azure Monitor, there's the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and there are tools that will help you prepare for that. And that was the lessons that I learned. So it made me realize that succeeding slowly is better than failing fast. So when you're in this journey or where you're about to embark the journey of cloud migration, choosing what's right and wrong is not easy. That's why you're here listening to me, to learn from me, from my lessons learned. And I'm glad I could partake and delegate it to you. But my advice is to succeed slowly with the best strategy and tools that's available today, that we have from Azure today, because they are useful and well thought based on some use cases and experiences like I had. I wish I had these tools before, but think about this when you're making decisions. So I have list down some things of tips that you can bring with you in terms of migrating legacy applications or migration in general. So so that you never make the same wrong moves that we did in that project, even though it did actually succeed. So one of my tips is that make use of the cloud adoption framework. So it is a collection of tools with guides from Microsoft that will allow you and your organization or team to plan and define your cloud migration strategy. And it actually has different phases to it. So it's a plan, first defining strategy, planning, getting ready, adapting, managing, and the governance part of it. So this is the detailed one. So if you want to learn about it, there's well-documented information about it on Microsoft Learn, aka MS/CAF. And in here, you define your strategy first, which means that you have to define your motivations for doing the migration. And then it's not just about defining the business goals or strategy. You also need to choose your prioritized project, because you cannot just move all projects at once. Remember, baby steps. So prioritize the project. And then once you have that, you're going to do your planning phase, which includes the cloud readiness, adoption plan. Getting ready, of course, includes the setting up the landing zones and the best practices. And then the adopt phase is actually choosing between, are you trying to just migrate or you're also innovating? So you can combine these two, and there are guides for that. And then manage is also one thing in terms of operations and then governance. And in between these these phases, security is also part of it in the entire cycle or framework process. So those things are important. And in terms of migration and motivations triggers, there are different parts of that. And of course, as mentioned, there are like to save costs, reduce complexity, and then innovation is to be competitive in the market. And also in between that, it's also to prepare some new capabilities for great stuff for within tech in the cloud. So strategy is important. And in Azure or Microsoft Assessment, there's actually this tool called Cloud Adoption Evaluator that allows you to evaluate how your about your cloud adoption strategy in the project or as an organization. So it's a good way to get started and assess what you have. And then security is also a good topic or consideration in terms of the shared responsibility model that I shared earlier. And for shared responsibility model in terms of security, it is good to implement the security rules and responsibility as well in the cloud adoption framework model, especially in the plan phase, build phase, and the adoption phase. So that this security rules and responsibilities is part of the adoption framework or CAF in the category of secure if you're curious about that. Another thing that's important to think about is cost management. Moving to the cloud can be both cheap, it can help you save money because you're removing the IT infrastructure costs. I mean the CapEx, and then you're moving to the OpEx, operational expenditure, which is like you pay as you go. However, it can be very expensive if the architecture or the solution is not well written or well optimized. But there are tools that Azure provides, such as the Azure Pricing Calculator, that allows you to calculate how much costs per Azure resource. There's the TCO calculator that will help you calculate how much you would save from on-prem workloads that you have to cloud workloads in a span of maybe 5 years, how much money you would save in the migration project. And then there's Azure Cost Management and budget alerts that you can use on the Azure portal itself to help you manage or control the costs. And then the adoption phase of the cloud adoption framework has this iteration in terms of assessing the workloads all the time and the release workloads also. So it's not just like stopping there, but also assessing it, especially when you're already almost done with it. Another tool that's good to know is Azure Migrate tools or the frame, like a suite. It's a suite because it has everything. It's a hub where you can have everything that you need in terms of migrating workloads from like on-prem, like database server into Azure. And what it does, it helps you assess your existing on-prem servers by following some like steps or recommendations. And it even kind of like can provide you some data box for needed for migration if you have a too much data on your on-prem. And Azure has this program called Azure Migration and Modernization Program that actually helps you and guides you in how you can assess and migrate your servers on-prem and the different options that you have, regardless if it's .NET, Java, or whatever workloads that you have, and how you can modernize it with cognitive tools like AI services that's available today. Microsoft assessments is also good when you're trying to assess different things in your workloads. That includes the cloud journey tracker. There's the well-architected framework tools in there, and a lot of things. The procedure when it comes to Microsoft assessment is that you start your assessment. You're gonna they're gonna ask questions about you and your project, and then it will try to give you a score and provide you some improvements and recommendation in terms of what you can do to take actions and some things that will guide you in your journey, depending on what it is that you're trying to assess, of course. So this one is an example of cloud adoption strategy evaluator. So here I was trying to test how I would adapt use this assessment as if I was in the previous project, cloud migration project that I had years ago. And unfortunately, when I tried to remember the things that we had, the assessment actually told me that, hey, your result is actually lots of red in terms of other considerations. So these things actually helps. And at that time, when I did my migration project, I didn't have this tool. We didn't have this tool. So we are lucky today that we have this framework. And then the next one for architects and to those that are like designing the applications for the cloud, I would also recommend the WAF, or the Azure Well Architected Framework, because it follows the good pillars for making a reliable applications to Azure in terms of like reliability, cost optimization, excellence for operation stuff, performance, and even security. So the COF and the WAF, they are good framework to follow while you're doing your cloud journey. And then if you are having a IT infrastructure that's on-prem, there's also the option to do hybrid. So hybrid or multi-cloud through Azure Arc. I know Syed is very good is very good in this technology, so you can ask him a lot about this. But this is the option also that you can use if you want if you don't want to 100% move to the cloud. So these are the options that you have in terms of multi-cloud, all on-prem, and this will help you also if you want existing servers or AKS workloads connected to Azure as well. So this is like an example architecture for that, where you have your Azure Arc and Azure connected together, as well with other cloud providers. And Azure Migrate also allows you to put your applications into containers. So that is supported for both ASP.NET applications and Java applications. So there's actually app containerization tool available through the Azure Migrate hub that you can see on Azure itself. And if you're really having a huge challenge, there's a fast track for Azure and the program that I told you, and the MSP that is available with Microsoft partners in each country. Design principles for Azure applications. So these are my favorite top 10. It's also documented. It's as developers, these things are very important. Like we design our applications to be healing itself. Like minimize things that will make your applications to break, and design for evolution, one of my favorites. So we should design our application that it should last forever. And I think I'm out of time, so I'm gonna skip the demo virtual tool, but you can check out the documentations I will be sharing. So finally, I want to advise everyone that's in this session to don't rush up rocket flying to the cloud, and take sprintful small steps to your cloud migration so that you can succeed. So because when you're preparing to prepare, you're actually preparing to fail. So that's very important. So my recommended learning resources are this. You will also get a copy later on this presentation. So cloud adoption framework, well-architected framework for Azure, Azure Migrate are great. And there's a learning path for Azure in terms of migration. And there's so much to learn, just like Yoda here. I like this gif of Yoda, and there's so much to learn together in the upcoming sessions. You will also learn a lot from the upcoming speakers, but take your time in learning, and I hope that you have gained some valuable information. And my book, chapter 10 of it, is actually dedicated to cloud migration because of this journey. So if you want to learn more about Azure and migration specifically, it's on chapter 13. And I want to give away a few copies, signed copies of my book. So later, if you have time, uh, share about this session and what you think about it on LinkedIn or Twitter, and tag me. Do a hashtag Azure Zero to Hero, and tag the learning team, Said and Hamid, and scan this QR code as well to send your name and email address, so that if you're selected, I will reach out to you and I will ask for your address, and then I can send a physical copy of my book to you, or an ebook version as well. So I'm ready for questions. Do we have any questions so far?
Not yet, but before we go through the question, thank you so much, Jonah. As always, I amazed by the content and knowledge that you shared with us. I'm fan of Azure Arc Cloud Adoption Framework. So you mentioned to those important and necessary part of this cloud adoption, cloud journey, and cloud migration. Thank you so much. But regarding the questions, just let us know. Use the raise hand. We can open your mic. You can ask your question, and also you can send your question to the chat. So Jonah will answer to you.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
all the microphones are enabled. So if you have any question, you can also enable your microphone.
Amazing. We
Yeah.
already
By
have
the
a
way,
question, Jonah.
Okay,
yeah,
there's a question. I'm looking in my
Differences
person.
between CAF and WAF. Cloud
Oh,
Adoption Framework, Well Architect Framework.
yes, that's a great question. Both of them are actually like sisters and brothers. Both of them are really important in terms of the cloud adoption framework. But I would consider a cloud adoption framework if you're trying to prepare for how you would go into the different sequence of good steps and strategies for cloud migration itself, because it kind of like give you the path. Hey, I have this application, i want to I want to go from here to there, and that the cloud adoption framework will actually allow you, kind of like guide you what is the best solution for you in Azure, because it's not just like moving the app to the cloud, it's also choosing which is the right path for you. Just like, for example, I mentioned a lot of options. Azure Arc is one. There's the platform as a service, there's serverless. So cloud adoption framework is for the cloud migration guide. And I would consider the well-architected framework is for more on building robust and reliable applications that would work well with Azure platform as a cloud that aligns with their services as well. So I hope that answered the question or helped.
Perfect. Thanks from the questioner. If you have any questions, please open your mic. We love to have interaction from you guys.
Yeah, yes. Don't be shy, but
Don't be
otherwise,
shy, right?
yes, don't be shy. Just because have a Wonder Woman chariot doesn't mean I'm this. Yes, but feel free to ask questions and please grab make a chance to share what you think about this session. I would really love to hear from you or mentioning us on LinkedIn, and I would like to hear at least give away this copy of my book, which is actually the result of this story that I just shared to you today. Because without the experience that I had in this project, the ups and downs and the challenges of everything, I wouldn't be motivated to finish this book, which I've been working on for the last 2 years, 2 years of my free time. So
Yeah.
I would really love to share it with you. So feel free to ask questions anytime to me this session or even on LinkedIn when you connect.
Yeah. One thing that I need to add, I had chance to read the draft book of Jonah. So if you love to be fall in love with Azure, you have to read this book because I already read it. And also I've been waiting to get the paper copy of the book. And
Yes.
it would be a gift to my wife because she's the Azure lover too. So basically, I really suggest you guys to have this book, read it, and you will be very ready to use and work with Azure environment.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. I'm actually preparing the book. I'm just waiting for my copy to come soon, but it's coming next week, so it will be ready for Christmas for your wife.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes,
Amazing.
yeah,
I'm personally gonna sign up as well.
yeah. Let's connect
I
and
really
yes.
enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. Not just the knowledge and experience and the ups and downs you had with the projects that you worked before, but as the person, your personality and the strong that gives. I learned also really great characteristics from you. Thank you for the session.
You're welcome. I'm happy to hear that. So that's pleasing to hear. I appreciate to share that knowledge, and I hope the learners that are watching us record it as well will find it useful. So I think we don't have questions. So I would like to thank you, everyone. Tack så mycket to all the audience watching live or joining us live, and also later on the recording. But feel free to connect with me if you scan the QR code. That's all my links to social media like LinkedIn and X and the book as well. So thank you so much. That's a picture of me and my dog Lawrence, a Labradoodle, sleeping downstairs. Yes,
Amazing.
yeah. Thank you so much.
I guess we have a hand raised
Okay, we have a question. Let me
question.
Or
No question.
Did I
he
miss
or
something? Let me check.
she left, I guess. Or
Boy, did we
Yeah,
miss?
maybe
yeah,
that was a mistake.
yeah,
Yeah.
wrong
And
wrong button.
by the way,
Yeah.
this session recorded and will be available in Zero to Hero YouTube channel and also other channels like Learning Room. So if you want to watch it again, I'm gonna watch again personally. And
Yes,
if
that's
someone
great.
also missed the session, I would recommend that you can watch it later.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, is it gonna be the recorded later, right? Because I will help share it also in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. This is
Thank
really
you too.
amazing initiative. I would like to give kudos to both of you for organizing this. I know how it is because I also organized Azure User Group Sweden, which I actually hosted this afternoon, and then I'm speaking. So organizing and speaking, it's really the result of passion for community and sharing knowledge to our friends in this learning room. So thank you, and also to those that listened, of course, with us.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So people, next week same time we have Emily. She will talk about AI, and she's one of good people in AI world. So stay tuned. We will back to you in next week.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Take
Bye
care.
bye. Have a
Bye.
great
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Thank you, Jonah. Bye.